Hi everyone, welcome back to the Hollywood Actors Guide to Surviving the Film and Television Industry, and today we are going to start off with a little psychology for you and Carl Jung, who said, quote, "Neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering," end quote. Let me say that again. Neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. So what that means is, as actors, I see you guys come to me and you have this role. Let's say you're going to play the Joker in Batman, and you're just like, oh, well, he's just crazy. And crazy is his neurosis. And so as an actor, you guys try to play crazy, and it doesn't work. And if you got the chance to see, and I highly recommend it, a Walking Phoenix version of the Joker that came out last year, the reason why his portrayal of this character is so compelling is because he's not playing the neuroses. The neuroses, in a way, doesn't even matter. It's good to know, but it's, an afterthought for an actor. Why? Because what's compelling and what's actually playable for you as an actor are the reasons, the whys of why you have a neurosis. And we all have these friends that have these problems or issues. Let's say they're OCD, and they brush it off. They're like, well, I'm OCD. This is just how I am. And if you have a character who's OCD, playing somebody who's just, quote, OCD just because that's the way they are is not interesting. It's not compelling, and it does not win you Oscars. What does get you recognized and what a great actor is going to do is they're going to sit down and they're going to say, why? Why is Arthur Dent, the Joker, the way he is? What happened? What did his mother do to him? What did his father do to him? What did not having his father do to him? What happened in his childhood? Why? The why of the neuroses. I can't stress it enough. I get very excited about this stuff, you guys know. The why somebody has a neuroses, that starts to become playable. Because if you make this decision, or it's even in the script, you know to go through the script and look for clues. If you know this crazy, weird relationship he has with his mom, for instance, if we're going to stay with Walking Phoenix Joker, the relationship he has with his mom, how is that affecting him today? How did that affect him as a teenager trying to develop and become a man? How did it affect him as a little boy and child? And then you can start seeing where all of his pain is coming from. And when you can see where his pain comes from, where his joy comes from, where his sadness comes from, now you start getting these golden nuggets of things you can actually play as an actor. So I want you guys to stop playing crazy, stop playing OCD, stop playing neuroses, because neuroses are not playable. You have to know why the character is doing that. And then when you do that action, when you behave the way that the character is behaving in the script, and it's coming from a place of pain or a place of insecurity, or whatever that place is where it's coming from, now you have depth and color to your character. So I say to you again, or Carl Jung will say to you again, neuroses is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. I'm going to give you guys some homework and share some personal writing as we're doing just one more segment today. And a few years ago, I was in Graham Sibley's class. It was back in February 4th, 2017. This is why we keep journals, guys, so we know when everything happens. And he had us ask a question and write the answer in our journals. I'm going to share my answer with you today. But I also want you to answer it yourself in your journal. And the question is, how is my path different than others? So looking at your career as an actor, how are you different? What makes you unique for where you are compared to everyone else in the industry? And answering this question can reveal some very weird and cool things about yourself as an actor. So I thought I would be very vulnerable and share my answer with you all here. And if you'd rather pause this and listen to it later and answer yourself first, go ahead, or you're welcome to listen to. But you should answer this question. It's very compelling to see your answer and then to read your answer almost 3 years later to see if you still feel the same way and what has changed. So what I wrote was, my path as an artist is awkward. My brain is not the disorganized chaos that most artists have been branded with. My hobbies, with the exception to dance, have been filled with the exploration and ponderings of physics and genetics, following the works of Richard Dawkins and Feynman, and contemplation of ethics and morality, caring more about whether something is true, not about how it makes you feel, as Sam Harris would say. Looking at my life as an observer, you'd probably assume I lead a life in academia, not the arts, but I think it is this complicated path of wanting to know how everything works and why people make the decisions they make that draws me to the brilliance that is the science of what an actor does. My approach, my path as an actor, my process is more akin to a mad scientist in a lab coming up with a hypothesis and conducting emotional experiments to find the truth in what a character's motivation is. A sometimes cold, calculated dissection of a life to be lived before diving into the complicated swarm of emotion and objectives of a human being. My mind rejects an inside-out approach, championed by many schools of acting. I see these only as tools of learning how to access the emotions, but see as a foolish way to develop a character. Knowing me outside this business, the last thing anyone would guess I would have, or would be that as a creative. Addendum. My love of knowledge and process has bled into acting as a career. I can take the desperation I see in others at an audition and have laser focus on what I'm doing. I take great interest in the technical and production side, always looking great on camera because I always make friends with the DP. And my phone is always charged with a stinger because electric always loves me. I thought that last little addendum there was kind of like a kind of cute little addition, a little egotistical there, saying I always look great on camera, but that is something we talked about making friends with the DP and asking how, if appropriate and it feels right in that time, you can help them with their shot. And so I would like you guys to do this exercise. If you'd want to share it with me, I would love to read what you have to say. You can email it to me. I'll keep it confidential unless you'd like to share it on the podcast. And if it's something I find compelling, I'd be happy to share it. So you can send it to hollywoodactorsguide@gmail.com. Just let me know if you are okay with me sharing it or not, or if you just want feedback from me personally. I hope you guys are all well, safe, and happy. Take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, break a leg, and remember you are not alone.